Real talk.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Humans Talking podcast. I am FRENO, joined by Brylon. What is up, everyone? What's up, Brian? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been good. Hello, everyone out there. Yeah, I'm glad it's over. We had a short weekend because of the holiday, but man, it was a long week.
Yep, we are now entering 2023.
Okay.
Obviously, we would want to start off with some good news. But, like, what was it? In the first 3 days, like, a bunch of just random stuff was happening.
Yeah,
Freaking, yeah, our
got
boy Jeremy Renner, Hawkeye.
oh,
Man, a snowcat incident. I had to look that up. The snowcat, it looks like a miniature bus that just, like,
it looks
pushes snow.
the one I saw. I think he had a picture of it. It's not exactly a snowcat, but it has like blade wheels. Looks like a tank.
Yeah, that's why I said miniature bus. It was like it was
Yeah.
like big enough for him to like fit his whole body in, but it was like still small. And I feel bad, for him. I hope he gets better, but I really feel like when all the details come out, it, it sounds like he just messed up and made a mistake and like injured himself.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
it
he
didn't
was.
just run him over for no reason. Like he had to like get it going and he somehow fall out and get blunt trauma to his torso he got, and then his leg got run
Yeah.
over.
I believe the story is that he was helping someone. He was like helping a neighbor, kind of like plow the neighborhood or whatever. And I think it either flipped over or he got in an accident or he got out and maybe it just like it kept running and like started moving. He tried to hop back in or something along those lines.
Yeah, because
But it ran over his leg.
those big machines have a lot of safety features that prevent them from doing certain things. So unless you're like manually
I'm
operating it,
sure.
it's not just going to turn on and just run you over. I think they said he was a quarter of a mile like down from his house. I think he was like plowing his driveway, and I think he was also doing his neighbor's driveway because they had a bunch of snow.
Yeah, I think he got out and then it started moving and he tried to hop back in and then slipped because there's literally no steps. Like it's just wheels.
Yeah,
And it just ran over his leg and just kept.
slipped and got blunt trauma to his torso, smashed that,
Maybe,
and then got run over.
maybe he hit his chest on like the end of the bottom of the floorboards
Yeah,
and then fell under something like that.
yeah, that is wild. I mean, luckily his neighbor, like saw him and like ran over and made a quick tourniquet on his leg, stop
He
the
was a
or
doctor.
yeah, to slow down the bleeding for the helicopter to come and take him away.
That's
So
very sad.
yeah, good luck to him on that. We actually lost somebody. I don't know anything about NASCAR, but I heard a famous NASCAR driver got killed in a snowplow accident.
I don't think he was a NASCAR. I think he was a rally driver.
Rally
Uh,
driver.
yeah.
I don't know the
Um.
difference, but all right.
Yeah. I don't. I'm
I'm not into
unfortunately
racing, but yeah, unfortunately, I heard he
someone
passed.
pretty upset about it. So
Yeah, and then
that's
other people getting corona. Like again, heard Jacksepticeye and his girl Gab Smolders. Heard they got corona like again. So I'm like, just starting the year off great. It's like, come on now, really?
yeah. Well, it's got to be something.
Yeah, it's just like, can we just can we just not have nice things? Um, you heard about the Logan Paul drama with the CryptoZoo?
I did not, unfortunately.
Ah, Logan Paul back at it again with another scam. He invented this crypto like thing called CryptoZoo, where you could like essentially get a bunch of crypto pictures of a bunch of different animals, and you could like fuse them sort of like Pokemon, and you would get like an egg, and when you hatch the egg, it's like a fusion between whatever two animals you had. So say like an elephant and like a bird, and they would like it would Photoshop this weird picture of them like kind of fused together. And he was trying to make this like quote unquote game called CryptoZoo where you can like get a bunch of different animals and hatch them and fuse them and make them all these weird hybrids. And apparently you were supposed to like I guess try to sell your hybrid animals for money, but the plan never came to fruition. They released CryptoZoo, a bunch of people bought into it, and there was no way of them pulling their money out because I guess one of his coders like decided to flee the country and like fled to Sweden or somewhere, and
What?
he had the source code to like I guess make it work, and he was like holding it. Apparently, allegedly, he held the source code hostage for like $1 million. So he's like, yeah, your crypto thing's not gonna work unless you pay me, and it's just this whole debacle. Um, a lot of shitty things going on. People couldn't hatch their eggs. They couldn't get their money. It's just a big scam. Everyone lost all their money. So, you know, big man. What do you call him? The interviewer, CoffeeZilla. Do you keep up with him at all?
No.
CoffeeZilla. He is a YouTube channel who pretty much does like detective work, and he interviews a bunch of people, and he exposes a lot of scams. So he exposes FTX and bad YouTubers and bad businesses. Like he puts in a lot of work, and he interviews people, and he makes these YouTube videos like exposing people for fraudy stuff. And he's grown a lot in the past couple of years. He's got millions of followers, and he does good work. He exposes a lot of shitty ass people. Well, he just did a 3-part series on Logan Paul and CryptoZoo that exposed everything and how it was a scam, and the people that Logan had working for him were criminals and da 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 da. It's this whole thing, and it's just like when CoffeeZilla makes a video about you, like you're screwed. Like it's just you're done. Like he's the last person you want doing a video about you because he exposes everything. But of course Logan Paul was upset about that, so he clapped back and he's like, "Oh, that's not true," and blah 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 blah, and you know, it's just a whole fiasco going on right now. I'm
Yeah.
sure people will probably move on and Logan Paul will be fine, and life goes on. But yeah, it's just really that's how we're starting the year.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I really wonder. I know that Logan Paul is a piece of shit, just in general. He makes a lot of really stupid decisions, so he's either a piece of shit or extremely naive.
Hmm.
Um, but I wonder how many people will like try to take advantage of him, like in this way. So like he's got millions of dollars, and then like maybe they're just like, all right, oh, you should do this. You like Pokemon? Here's like a cool idea, and it's like him getting scammed, but his name's on it. I wonder if that's a possibility. Who
It's
knows?
it's a very
Feels like
strange situation because that could easily be the case because part of the 3-part expose was just like, yeah, like all these people he had working for him were like criminals and con artists. Like, how did he not know? So Logan Paul
probably.
claps back with his own video. He's like, okay, CoffeeZilla has everything wrong. He pretty much put out a hit piece like attacking CoffeeZilla, and everyone hated the video. They hated it so much that he eventually just took it down off his channel because the entire video was him attacking CoffeeZilla and not addressing the problems with CryptoZoo and how he screwed everybody over. Like he didn't take accountability or address any problems that everyone's been talking about, and he tried to bash CoffeeZilla, which didn't work. He's like, yeah, he tried to be a cop and it didn't work out, so now he's like a journalist, gossip channel like Keemstar, and it's just and everyone, no one agreed with him. They're like, you're an idiot. Like you got caught, and now you're trying to blame him. It's so funny. Like people hated it so much he took it down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just because it's like, man, Logan, you had criminals working for you. How did you not know? And then he tried to blame his I guess his PR team. He's like, yeah, he's like, I guess I have a bad PR team because they're supposed to vet and do background checks on people. And it's like, so it's their fault? Like, you're the face of the company. You hired con men and criminals. You got screwed over. A lot of people who work under you are like, bad dudes. So it's like, it's not everybody else's fault. It's, your fault as you being a bad business owner. But,
That's unfortunate for everybody who got scammed.
yeah, I mean, it's crypto. Like, why do people invest in that? I don't know why people keep trying to think.
Yeah.
I guess they think it's going to be the next Dogecoin or something. And I'm like, that's never going to happen again. It's just not. You might as well go play
Man,
the lottery.
times are tough. People are are hurting right now, and when you get hope and you're like, "Oh man, I can make money. I can be rich. I can get out of this shithole." You're just gonna do it.
You
A lot of
know,
people make mistakes like that.
in my opinion, you can't consider yourself hurting if you have $50,000 to just blow on just random stuff. Like
I
if you've
guess
got
that
that kind of money laying around, you're not in a bad position. Like it's just because there's people who could use that money, like
that's true.
literally pay rent for the rest of the year or whatever. But no, I want to go blow it on whatever. Goodness.
Man. Well, yeah, keep me updated on that. I really don't know a whole lot about crypto or Logan Paul. I don't really follow a lot of these crazy ass people.
Yeah, it's only when they like do something stupid that they blow up, and it's just like, well, what'd they do now?
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple like here or there like articles, but I didn't read them. I don't care.
Yeah. And in other news, I don't know the credibility of this, but I'm sure you've seen the rumor about Warner Brothers deciding to keep Ezra Miller as the Flash going forward, probably because he's young, but then obviously acting like, The Rock and Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
which of course is immediately pissing everybody off. They're like, you mean to tell me you're going to fire Superman, The Witcher, Henry Cavill, but you want to keep Ezra Miller, who's been like busted for all this stuff? it's and some one person compared it. They're like, "Wow, Will Smith can't even recover in Hollywood right now, but Ezra Miller gets to keep his job." Like, what? I don't
Yeah.
know if that's James Gunn or if that's Warner Brothers. Like, if this is true, who's deciding that?
I feel like they mentioned that based on the fact that he was in therapy and stuff like that, they wanted to keep him. But I feel like if you are getting rid of everyone else already and you have people, if you just look at the movie, The Justice League, out of all of the people who did amazing jobs, who acted like those characters and did justice to those characters, I feel like Ezra Miller was probably the weakest interpretation of that character.
He was the
Like,
comic relief in the Justice
he
League for
wasn't even
sure.
that good in that role. Or he might have been good in the role for what he was trying to do, but it's not even, I don't think that's really true to that character. I don't really know that character
Right?
as
Yeah.
well.
Barry Allen is not a jokester. Wally West is.
Yeah, so it's just really interesting to see them hold on to that character when you had like a really great Batman, you had a great Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like those characters are enduring and interesting, and it just it doesn't make any sense to like fire everyone else and then keep the weakest link.
Yeah. Supposedly, this is the rumor. I don't know if James Gunn has confirmed it, but he damn sure has not denied it. So I'm just like, I understand how some people feel like, look, if Henry Cavill's gone and Ezra Miller's staying, I'm not gonna bother watching this next set of movies. And I feel like their anger is justified because they've just been screwed over for the past 10, 15 years of just garbage with DC. I mean, I'm glad James Gunn is taking over and, you know, I assume trying to work out a new phase of movies, but which we still don't know what they are yet, but it does leave a bad taste in people's mouths. It's just like, oh, Henry Cavill's gone and Ezra's staying. Like, I thought y'all like rebooting everything. Yeah, it's strange if that's the case.
My uh my thought would be that it's probably just a rumor. I mean, there's a lot of shit that goes, for some reason DC is like a big powder keg where people are constantly, fighting over the characters and like what to do with them and like, release the Snyder cut, release the Ayer cut, blah 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 blah. There's just so much shit. And I feel like it's possible that this rumor is pretty unsubstantiated and is mostly just, what's the next drama for the DCU? Because he hasn't commented on it. I'm sure it's not anything that's been set in stone or necessarily, totally decided.
Right.
I feel like maybe there was some off chance somebody said, yeah, they'll probably keep him, or they might, who knows, maybe they'll keep him, maybe they won't, and then someone just ran with that. I don't know. I don't see them getting rid of everyone else and then keeping him. It doesn't really make sense to me, and it doesn't really make sense for the universe if they're resetting it.
Yeah.
I get that they're doing like a flashpoint or whatever, but like it still doesn't make any sense. Just start over or don't. make up your mind. You know,
Yeah, and here's another thing that I just thought of just now. James Gunn, I think he said the Justice League is still going to have a cameo appearance in the Flash movie, but they already previously confirmed that Henry Cavill and Gal Gadot, their parts got cut from the movie. So I'm just like, is it just Batman and Aquaman who are still going to have cameos? Like,
honestly, I bet what they're gonna do is they're gonna do what Marvel is doing right now with the multiverses, and they're gonna do some version of Kingdom Come or Crisis on Infinite Earth, and that's going to be their phase, whatever, like their big battle, final battle, whatever. And then when they do that, they're going to bring everyone back uh, to do what, close them out, kind of like they did with No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness, etc., etc.
man, Kingdom
Yeah,
Come was such a that's one of the best DC comics ever written.
never read it.
You never read Kingdom Come? Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not a DC guy.
I mean,
I
just in
heard
terms
about
of good storytelling, and I believe that the artist was Alex Ross as well, and everything he draws is amazing.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was actually showing somebody that comic the other day when I was in a Barnes and Noble, but
Kingdom Come or just Alex Ross?
Kingdom Come. I was trying to show them the iconic artwork.
Yeah, Alex Ross. Everything he draws is amazing. Yeah, Kingdom Come is such an amazing story. It's so good. You got to read it if you ever get some time. It's so good. It's old, but it still holds up to this day.
Yeah, I really like the animated, but I don't know, for some reason the comics, I've read a couple here and there, like Sinestro War, and I've read Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I'm a Marvel person. I love that one. I love the writers. I follow the writers mostly, and yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not a big fan of Geoff Johns or
I liked his Green Lantern run. That
yeah, that was
that's
fun.
historic. Like he literally redefined the entire Green Lantern mythos.
Yeah. Yeah, I think my favorites have always been Grant Morrison's good, and he's done some DC stuff like Batman and Son and stuff. And then
Yeah.
uh I really like my personal I really like Abnett and Lanning. Dan Abnett, who is more primarily known for like an actual writer. He's like a really prolific Warhammer 40K writer, and he does like a lot of the more favorable Warhammer 40K lore books, and just novels and stuff. And he's done a couple of other things here and there, but he's the one that redefined um, Guardians of the Galaxy into what we know today.
Yep.
Because they're
Yeah.
doing some,
Marvel didn't have a
yeah,
a universe. They just everything was on Earth, and it's like,
and
how about we like go out into to space? And it was completely an untapped market.
they had space, but it was just kind of whatever, and they had like a lot of corny superheroes that honestly kind of resembled a lot of the DC ones to me personally. And they were doing Civil War during that event, and they were just like, "Hey, man, you can do whatever you want with this. Just make it fun." And then he just revamped it. He made Star Lord the way Star Lord looks now. He brought about the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's the one that did Annihilation War. It's an
We
amazing,
got the Nova Corps, we got Thanos, like everything involving space like opened up
yeah,
because
Ultron.
there really was like nothing back then.
Yeah, he brought Ultron back. It was amazing, and I have every single one of those on hardcover special edition. I read the entire. It's like 4 wars in a row with different sagas. I have every offshoot, whether it's Nova or Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, and then you have I forget the Joan of Arc character. I can't remember off the top of my head. Just all of them. It's amazing. Annihilation, Conquest, Conquest of Kings, I think it's called. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've read them all, but uh,
Yeah,
anything Batman does, I will probably check out.
the Annihilation Wave is just it doesn't seem like it should be broke because it's such a simple concept of just like fucking space bugs.
Yeah,
But they just like keep like replicating and growing, and then you have like this gigantic army of just bugs just flying through space, and it's just like, oh my god, they kill everything in their path.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
man, it's great. I really like the Nova. I actually like the Nova Corps in that iteration more than the Green Lantern Corps. Though the Green Lantern Corps does have some interesting shit. I think
mhm.
I stopped after when they started doing like the war with all the rainbow colors. I was like, all right,
The War of Colors. I mean, that was the
this is
cool part because it'd never been done before.
yeah, there's too much to keep up with because you had to read like you had to know who the red guys were and the pink
Red
guys
guy.
were with.
It's just any emotional part of the spectrum. Just all right.
Yeah,
What emotion is this? All right, or rage, greed, love. All right, it's pretty self-explanatory.
yeah, that's when I stopped.
The
But
War of
anyways,
Light. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think as going back to the original topic, I think that I think that they're gonna go into that sort of thing, and then they'll bring them back, and everyone will be happy, and it's gonna be like Spider-Man: No Way Home. Everyone's gonna be like, everyone got closure, yay! Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
James Gunn.
Personally, I'm just waiting, and I don't know when this is going to happen. Hopefully this year, but it sounds like it's taking a while. I'm just waiting for James Gunn to release his version of Phase 1 for the DC universe. Like, that really helps to kind of know what we're looking at or what they're going to be working towards, like what kind of universe they want to build. Because all we know is that he's rebooting everything, with the exception of Ezra Miller, and it's just like, cool. What does that mean? Like, you already said Henry Cavill's gone, Jason Momoa's gone. Well, as Aquaman, they're probably gonna bring him back as Lobo, but it's just like, yeah, what's the plan here? I wonder if he's still working it out. I would think before they hired him, he would have had some personal, like, general idea of what he would do if he were in charge. Like,
He
I'm pretty
said
sure
that
that's how he got the job. Maybe he had to pitch his idea, and they're like, sure, that sounds good.
he said that he already has like the next 8 to 10 years planned, and that they'll be releasing the first half of that this month.
Okay, so get
So
excuse me,
just
yeah,
give it,
give us some idea of the phases.
yeah, just give us a couple of weeks before the end of the month. We'll know at least the first half
Yeah,
of
the first set of movies. I'm like, okay.
yeah. Blue Beetle's probably one of them.
Yeah,
Green
he did
Lantern
say
Corps
Blue Beetle.
is probably one of them.
I think Blue Beetle is like the only one we know of that they're working on. I kind of wish they would bring back Batgirl, that movie, but I guess that we're just never gonna see that.
I feel like now they have to reset it, rebuild all these characters. It's literally gonna have to be like a ground, not a ground zero, but like yeah, pretty much. They just gotta have to start completely over, start over, and just
Yeah,
and
and it
everyone have
sucks
to watch
because
another origin story for Batman, another origin story for Superman.
yeah, because the Aquaman movie we're about to get like doesn't doesn't matter. Like the Flashpoint movie kind of doesn't matter, but kind of does because we're assuming because of Flashpoint, we're assuming that's supposed to be the big reboot of everything. That they had a
Yeah,
bunch of reshoots, so I
I
assume that's
think
going to be the big kicking off of, hey, new universe.
I think going forward. I'm gonna do what I do with the Disney Plus garbage. Uh, I'm just going to look at it like a trailer or whatever. If it looks interesting, maybe I'll see it in theaters. If not, I'm not gonna bother. I'm not gonna waste my money.
Yeah, when it comes to DC movies, like that's my philosophy. I always keep my standards very low, my expectations. I keep my expectations very low. So when I go see a DC movie, I'm never disappointed. I'm just like, yeah, that's pretty much what I expected.
Man, I saw Black Adam. Did I tell you that I saw Black Adam,
Yeah,
at least
what'd you
most
think?
of. I think I stopped paying attention halfway through, midway through. I actually don't even know what happened at the end.
And they all saved the day somehow.
I remember they were all fighting, and I was like, man, this is just like action, and I have no idea why is this mom here? Why are these kids here? Why is that that guy shooting at? I don't know.
So did you ever finish it, or did you just stop?
I did not like it, and I never finished it. And I thought about finishing it the day after. I was like, I should finish that, and then never did, and I'm okay with that.
And I'm okay with that. I can sleep at night. That's
I
harsh, but
someday I'll get the itch to like rewatch a really shitty movie, and that'll be on the list. But I don't.
And it's what's sad is like the movie wasn't that bad. Now, was it memorable? No, but it wasn't like terrible.
It was like Fast and Furious level of bad,
But Fast
which
and Furious made like 10 movies, like it's still popular for the same shit.
I mean, I'm just saying I watched all of Ghost Rider 1 and was totally fine with that.
Ghost Rider.
And I watched Ghost Rider 2 recently, and I watched
Uh,
that whole thing too.
I was good. When I saw the first Ghost Rider, I was like, all right, that's enough. That's good. I didn't want to
Yeah,
watch the second one. I'm like, no, thank you.
it wasn't bad. There was a lot of really good action scenes, and there's a lot of fun Nick Cage freakouts. But man, no, it's still better than Black Adam though. I and The Rock needs to stop making movies for a little while.
Why, man? He's not getting any
Not,
younger.
he's really not. He just needs to do something else. Maybe he could. You know what would be really cool? What if he made a movie about tequila and then put Terramana in it? Like, just do like a fun indie movie about kind of like Wolf of Wall Street, but for him. Do his own biopic or something. Do something else. Don't do action for a little bit. Learn how to act.
Dang, that's harsh. He's like, learn how to act.
I
Oh
feel
my goodness. When he first started doing movies like The Scorpion King, I'm like, this dude can't act. It's very obvious but he's a wrestler, so that's to be expected. He's like, I don't know anything about acting. This is my first time. Where he is now, he's gotten a lot better. He's a lot better at acting, but
think
he does play the Samuel L. Jackson. He plays the same role like every movie though, so
he
it's kind
play
of
he
kind of
doesn't
what you
act. He plays The Rock in every
yeah
single movie. And the
yep
thing is, he had one or two good acting roles, like Pain and Gain. Great,
Ye-
that's a wonderful movie. And he did really good. Um, that's really about it.
yeah. That
I
was what was that movie he played where he was a gay dude? That was really funny with John Travolta, I believe. It wasn't Get Hard. It was oh my god, I can't think of the movie.
Young Rock, San Andreas, GI Joe, Retaliation,
Are you just looking at his movies?
Journey 2,
No, this predates that. This was
Ballers.
yeah before he was like gigantic and huge.
I don't know. I feel like people like Batista are just fucking, and even John Cena have in their brief time as actors have like shown that you know what wrestlers can do as far as range, or ex wrestlers. Like Batista is fucking killing it, and that's not just because he's Filipino and I'm Filipino. That man knows how to act. And John Cena has been really wonderful in everything I've seen him in. He was in Trainwreck. He was pretty funny in that, I
And
think.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker has been really great. All of those, I mean, just that role has shown more depth than anything The Rock has been in.
Well, what you're describing are like comical roles, and The Rock is just being The Rock. That's just like a very serious, stern look. It, it
I
kind
mean,
of it kind of reminds me of Will Smith and Samuel Jackson and The Rock. It's like I think they can act in other roles, but they keep that mostly they're famous for doing the same thing.
yeah, but Samuel L. Jackson does do other roles that are interesting, and he did a lot of roles. Like, we all
Yeah.
know that he can act if he wants to.
Yes.
Same with Will Smith.
Correct.
Like, oh, I don't know if fucking The Rock can act. I know that John Cena can act. I've seen him do some fun stuff. Um, just in Peacemaker alone shows a lot of range, and I know Batista can act. You just have to watch the beginning of Blade Runner or Dune or even the fucking
Glass Onion.
yeah Glass Onion, Guardians of the Galaxy. He's great, and he picks really interesting and amazing roles. So
And it's also about how you portray a character because whenever you're casting a role, it's your job to bring that character to life. So if you want to emote and do some fun stuff, or if you just want to be stern and serious the whole movie, that's your interpretation of that character.
Yeah. You know what's really interesting? I'm looking at Dave Bautista's filmography. He was in King 3.
I never saw past the first one.
He was in Spectre. I forgot about that. James Bond. Kickboxer Vengeance with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Blade Runner, Infinity War, all those blah blah blah. He
Yeah.
was in Master Z, the Ip Man Legacy. Army of the Dead. He was fun in that.
Oh, I remember that Netflix movie.
And I'm very excited for Knock at the Cabin. I think that's going to be
Yeah, well, I,
it.
mm,
Okay, first of all, it's not written by M. Night Shyamalan. It's based off a book that is good.
but he's still
So if you
directing it so he could like make it terrible.
I don't think so.
It man, I'm sure you can imagine my thoughts on M Night Shyamalan.
Yeah,
It's like, the
I
premise
think
of the movie seems cool. Like I when they showed the first trailer of them just like breaking into the house, and like that was it. Immediately, I was like, this has something. I was like, I just know this has something to do with the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse or something. That was my prediction. We just got the second trailer, and I was close to like, hey, the apocalypse is going on right now, and you guys can stop it. It was just like I was like, I knew it has something to do with the apocalypse. Four dudes breaking in the house.
I think
It looks intriguing.
it's a very strong book. I think it will be good because he didn't write it. There's no twist other than what's in the book. Apparently, the book is like M Night Shyamalan or not M Night Shyamalan, fucking Stephen King said it was really good. I just I have faith that because it's an adaptation of a book, can't really stray. It's like the people who made Game of Thrones, D&D. You know,
I Yeah, I
as long as they
personally
have
yeah.
the material there, they can do okay.
I love that they have the material there, but I personally don't have faith. Well, I have faith that people will do the wrong thing and make bad decisions. So while even though they have the source material and how the story's supposed to go and how it's supposed to end with a twist, I have faith that Shyamalan will do what Hollywood does and just change it.
I
Just
don't
just change it
I
because they want to.
I don't think so. I'm gonna give you this is a pizza bet right here.
Pizza
You
bed.
have you owe me a
Never heard of
pizza
pizza bed, but all right.
because also because of the actors that are in it. You got Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff. I don't know Ben Aldridge, but I do know Rupert Grint and those people generally, especially Jonathan Groff and Dave Bautista, they they read those scripts beforehand, so if they know if it's good or not. And Dave Bautista and Jonathan Groff don't really strike me as people that pick whatever movie just to do whatever movie. Like Dave Bautista is trying to build a movie career, and every movie he's picked, not every movie, but a good number of the big movies he's picked with like high visibility, he's picked with intentionality to be like, look, I want to be taken seriously as an actor. And I don't think he would pick that movie if he didn't think that he could bring something interesting or do something interesting, or that it would be a trash movie that would restart everything that he's done so far. It takes a lot to crawl your way, as you can tell by The Rock. It takes a lot to crawl your way out of wrestling and into serious roles picked up by Denis Villeneuve and stuff like that. So
Well, going into this completely blind, personally, as someone who has never read the book or even fully understands the synopsis besides, Apocalypse, I'm going to go ahead and walk blindly into this bet saying that they will change, M. Night Shyamalan will change stuff from the source material to make it more Hollywood or whatever that is, against your bet that they will stick to the source material.
I'm not saying that they'll stick to the source material. I'm saying it's going to be a good movie.
I hope it's good. I just don't, when I see his name attached to stuff, I'm just like, But I mean, yeah,
I feel
we'll
like
wait and
after
see.
Avatar, they really tried to rein his ass in. They're like, "Nah, you're gonna make a good movie, and you're a studio director now. You're not a creative. You're making movies for the studio, and you're gonna do what we say.
Because we're
Uh,
bankrolling it, yeah.
yeah, we're not gonna fucking let you do whatever you want. You don't have final creative decisions.
When does that movie come out?
I think it comes out this month
This month already?
or maybe next month.
They didn't show much for it to come
Let's
out so soon.
uh February 2nd.
Okay, so like literally a month away.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll see with the movie, and we'll, I guess, 4 podcasts from now, we'll have a discussion.
Oh yeah, we can review it.
And I'll be like, all right, like I predicted, changed everything from the source material. I don't know. We'll see what
I mean,
happens.
movie to adaptations generally do add or change something, especially if it's a short book. Generally, short novels that are adapted tend to do better. You have like Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile,
Yeah.
Black Phone. Granted, those are all king-related works, whether son or father. But generally, those work better than like long adaptations. And I think
Yeah.
Knock in the Woods is a shorter novella.
Okay, well that's good because with the longer books, like you have more to work with, so which also means you have more to cut because you got to condense this to 2 hours.
Yeah,
Which is why I'm a firm believer if you're gonna do book series, just do a Netflix like series. You give you 10 episodes to just flesh out the whole book. Um, I assume that's what they tried to do with Wheel of Time on Amazon, but I think you said, or a lot of people who read the source material said it wasn't good because I never read the Wheel of Time.
I read the first book and yeah, it wasn't good.
Okay, yeah.
The book was fine. I think that series in general has an issue with the first couple books being extremely generic,
Oh,
um, because it's very derivative of Tolkien, but it builds into its own thing later on. And I think not only obviously you have to start with the first book, so it's very derivative, but also like they filmed during COVID, they had like actors drop out, they didn't have enough time to do special effects because of COVID, et cetera, et cetera. So it just was a hot fucking mess.
well that sucks. That's really unfortunate because I feel like Wheel of Time is like one of those popular book series that people would have really liked to see.
Yeah, I'm sure that maybe they'll recover by the second season,
They're gonna
though.
make a second season?
Yeah, but I don't know how many people are gonna watch it.
Oh, I thought it got canceled.
No, it's in the second season.
Okay.
I think second and third. They have enough money that even if their movies do shitty, they can keep going. And that's a
Yeah.
good thing because you have shitty companies like Netflix that cancel everything after the first season. Fuck you, Netflix.
Fuck you, Netflix.
God, it's so fucking
Coming in
stupid.
hot, Brian. You got the
Netflix is
wrath of God coming out of you with that statement.
Netflix is uh, equal parts one of the better, not one of the better, used to be obviously one of the greatest things that has ever come out. It probably stopped a lot of piracy in a lot of ways, but you know what? I take that whole statement back. Whatever, just regardless, Netflix is Netflix, but whatever it's doing now, it's clearly losing a lot of money, and they are fucking so stupid with these decisions that they're doing. Like, I, they cancel everything after the first season if they don't get the views they need. Like everything is essentially an algorithm through marketing to decide whether or not a show sticks around. There's no art in it anymore. Uh, they they refuse to put movies or TV shows out on like a weekly basis which is what they should be doing. It's better for the longevity of the show and the discussions that go around the show. And it's just like it's really frustrating. It makes me so mad.
What was the thing Neil Gaiman was saying? Or Gaiman, how do you say that?
Neil Gaiman.
Gaiman.
I don't know what you're referring to.
So Neil Gaiman, the writer of the creator of
Same.
Sandman, he said that they didn't get renewed for a season 2 when they asked him, which is like shocking because the show did so well, and he was trying to say the way Netflix runs its numbers is he said I how did he describe it? He's like people didn't watch it like fast enough, so I guess Netflix thought they didn't get enough views for the amount of money they put in, so they didn't renew it for a second season, which was
I
like
believe, I
stupid to
believe
me.
they are working on it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, they are now that that he brought it brought it to light. But because Neil Gaiman, because they asked him like, "Hey, is there gonna be a season 2?" And he's like, "I don't know." He's like, "They haven't told me anything about a season 2. That's up to Netflix." But I think when he talked to Netflix, they were saying something like they didn't get enough views because people were like, I think they were spacing it out, or maybe they just binge watched it and stopped. I don't know. Something about the way Netflix like calculates success, calculates their views. People didn't watch it the way they wanted them to, which is why they didn't want to renew it. I can't remember if it's because people watched it all at once and the longevity wasn't there, or if people were trying to make it last and watch like one episode a week or every couple days. But
Well,
something Netflix didn't like.
the thing
So
is,
it's some type of metric that they track.
yeah, they don't go by whether or not the show has good reviews. They
Right.
go by whether or not it's being watched and if there's like a drop off in the viewership of it. I
Yes.
feel like, which or it, and it's mostly also how many people subscribed so they can watch it, because they're not making any money unless people they get additional subscribers, right? Um, so I don't know, but it's really terrible whatever they're doing. Like they keep picking up all of these wonderful IPs and great ideas and creative things like Pinocchio, and then just dropping on there and being like, well, we didn't really make any money off of this because no one else signed up, so bye. Dark Crystal. It's really frustrating. And at the same time, like they want everything to be Stranger Things, essentially. If it's not Stranger Things, then we don't want you, even though we're paying to have you on there. It's a hot mess. It's terrible. I know a lot of people really like having everything, like being able to binge watch TV shows, have everything, the day and date it comes out. It's not good for any show. It's not good for anything.
Well, it doesn't seem good from a business standpoint because as a viewer, I personally love it because I'm like, oh, this show just came out. I can watch all 8 episodes, over the course of the next 2 or 3 days because they're all out. But what happens when I watch all the episodes? Well, now I'm done using Netflix until the next show. So then the viewership just drops for a month or two till the next show comes out. Whereas if they had released one episode a week, people would constantly be coming back.
Yeah,
I
the
would I
way
assume that's the business model that it should be.
yeah, it's better for shows. Think about the most popular shows of all time, aside from Stranger Things. That's an outlier. But you have shows like Lost.
Or Breaking
You
Bad.
have shows like Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, right?
Hmm.
And what are the things those all have in common? There were cliffhangers. There are cliffhangers in the TV shows. Everyone was watching at the same time.
Yes.
So when you weren't watching it, you were talking about it. You had something to talk about. When you watch something on Netflix, no, you could binge watch it. I could watch it one by one. We'll never talk about it unless it's months later because I don't know where you're at in the show. You don't know where I'm at in the show. We can't have a conversation about it because everyone's all over the place with it. But if Game of Thrones comes out and does a red wedding, that you better be goddamn sure that the next day, next time I see you, if it's in between that and the next episode, we're
We're
talking
talking about the
about
Red
that.
Wedding.
We're talking about it. We're
God, that
getting
was
other
such a
people into
huge moment.
yeah. And you don't get those huge moments in Netflix shows because nobody is on the same page. Nobody knows what's happening, People are like people can't they're afraid of, there's like the spoiler culture, people trying to avoid spoilers, and then you have people that don't care about it. And how are you supposed to have a conversation or talk about it, if no one's on the same page?
Yeah, it
There's no
does. It
a
does bring up a
lifeline for the
problem.
show. There's no lifeline for the show
Yeah.
because if they had done Sandman, one at a time, or even Stranger Things. If Stranger Things came out one episode a week, think about how many months. So there are 10 episodes or whatever, 10 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Once a week. That's 10 weeks of people talking about Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
How many weeks do they get when they drop everything at once? They get 1 week, maybe two.
Because everyone watched it. Yeah.
Because everyone watched it, it's over, that it's done, you know? So and that's Stranger Things. That's a big one. But you put anything else on there, you expect, freaking what's a show that just got canceled within a week? I don't know. You get Glow or anything like that. Dark Crystal, Sandman. You put it
Ah.
all out on a week. They talk about it for the week when they're done, and that's it. And then they've moved on to other content. There's so much content out there. And if you're not sparsing it out and putting the lure out there and then pulling back the fish and then doing it again, then we're going to set it and forget it. We're going to watch your show, be like, that was good, that was bad. Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You can't
And
you can't
just as an addendum to the people out there listening, this doesn't count for the people out there who choose to purposely not watch a TV show for like a year just so you can save it all up at once and then watch it in one go. Because we do know a few people who like to do that.
That's different. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's different.
that's totally fine. Like I'm just now watching Mythic Quest for the first time, and it's a fucking amazing show. But we're binging that, you know.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I've heard good things.
It's amazing. It's so good. Yeah, and that's fine because I didn't catch up until now. I didn't start watching it until now. That is what it is. But why do you shoot yourself in the foot by putting everything out at once? You know you have a hit. You know you have a good show and you just drop it all out at one time where no one, and then with no marketing, no fanfare, people have to search for it on your website to even find it and they have to know already what it is. And then they watch it and then that's the end of it. There's nothing. It's like Knives Out 2 came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great movie. I don't know if you've seen it,
Oh
but
yeah, I've seen it. It was
it's
great.
a great movie.
It's
They
a
put
great
that in
movie.
theaters for 1 week. Why? Did you know that entire week it was pretty much sold out? Why? And then they took it off after the week and then waited a month and then put it on Netflix. What is the logic there? How did they think they were making money with that? Why not keep it in theaters for however long a normal theatrical run is? It's making money. You see that it's making its money. You probably would make more money if you put it in the theaters than just dropping on your streaming service where you make money on renewals or whatever. It's just like, and then there was really no promo that was going to be on Netflix. They just dropped it on Netflix. And if you weren't on the Netflix app, you probably didn't know it was on there.
Yeah, I I was alerted. I knew it was on there. That's why I watched it. But yeah, having it in there for a week, I mean, they made a lot of money during that week. But yeah, potentially they could have made a lot more if they just kept it going in
Yeah,
theaters. I don't know why they did that.
but Netflix is losing subscribers and it's losing money.
I
So,
definitely think the Netflix formula. I think they did shoot themselves in the foot because with this logic of hey, instead of releasing stuff weekly, we're gonna release everything all at once for this show, and then when people are done watching it for that week, the viewership drops off. Well, how do we make the viewership go back up? Well, let's release another show for them to watch. If we just keep releasing shows, then logically they will always have something to watch. The problem is one, that's expensive because you're
yeah,
constantly just pumping out shows. And two, most of the shows you're pumping out are not interesting. Like
there's
you're making content for the sake of content, but nobody's just gonna watch a bunch of random shit until the next Stranger Things. So,
yeah,
they
and then
lost a
when you're
bunch of money
canceling,
from just
yeah,
releasing a bunch of random shows that people just don't watch. There's so many shows on Netflix you just don't watch.
yeah, and then
Reality shows too.
you end up canceling the good ones
Yeah,
because
because
you
too much money. And it's like
whether it's a
yeah,
niche audience or not, like you need to focus on quality, not quantity.
correct.
HBO, people still watch that. People talk about the White Lotus. What's it called? The the Lotus show. I can't remember the
Yeah,
name
so
of
yeah,
it.
White Lotus.
Yeah, Hotel or whatever. That show gets talked about. It comes out once a week. You better believe when freaking The Last of Us comes out next week, people are gonna be talking about that when it comes out once a week, one episode a
Yes.
week. House of the Dragon, that was a wonderful time, and people talked about that. Same thing, once a week.
Yes.
Uh, Euphoria, same thing. People talk about those shows for a long time
Euphoria was
because
so good.
they come out once a week. If you miss a couple episodes, you can catch up. That's fine. But those are in the zeitgeist for way longer than anything that Netflix comes out with because everyone is on the same page. We're all left with cliffhangers where we have time to discuss and talk about it. There's no reason to talk about a show when we know the answer. We have a question in the end of an episode and it gets answered immediately 5 seconds later in the next episode.
Oh yeah, because it auto plays. Yeah. All right, here's the next
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, just let us have a discussion about it, man. It's just fucking stupid. And
Yeah.
even if like say I want to do that, I like savoring shows. So like I'll watch, Succession was coming out once a week or whatever. I would do that. But like if when Stranger Things came out, I tried to like watch maybe one or two episodes, then wait to kind of I try to replicate that cadence of like a regular show. But everyone's a million,
Yeah, everyone's already seen it, so it doesn't really
yeah,
work.
yeah, people will watch it in 24 hours. They'll watch every one of them. It's like that's not fun. That's not even healthy. There's no you're
That's
not even
that's
gonna
the
remember
term
what happened.
binge.
It's really frustrating. I don't know. I
Yeah,
digress.
yeah,
But
it's
fuck you, Netflix is I guess what I'm. You're gonna lose all your subscribers. You're gonna go out of business because you're too fucking stupid to understand that there's so much content coming out. You need to make the content that you have last. It's like I've been playing a lot of MMOs, World of Warcraft lately.
hmm
You have that you spend 2 years working on an expansion. You drop the main bulk of the expansion, but then you have regular patch releases with the rest of the story for the next 2 years, and that keeps your community healthy and happy and like interested in what's happening. If you dropped it's the same. You drop, a single player game with, this is the game, this is the story, that's it. People will play it, they'll like it, and then it's on to the next. But when you have a game that, has, uh, uh, you want people to continue playing and engaging in, you have to parse the content out. Same with Netflix. You need to start parsing your content out so people can can have conversations about it and be engaged in it for longer periods of time. That's the only way you're going to get subscribers. If I don't like Netflix, anything else that comes out on Netflix, and you drop Stranger Things in one day, I'm going to watch all of Stranger Things in the week that I have it and then cancel.
yeah,
But if you take 10 months to roll, or 10 weeks to roll it out, that's at least 2 months, three months subscription that you just got.
yep. This is true. That's exactly how they do it.
Anyways, sorry. This is
No,
so
no, no. That was very informative. It's important to discuss too because it is a problem with Netflix. I mean, that's why you have Hulu and HBO like still doing pretty well because you know sometimes I'll watch anime on like Hulu and that comes out once a week, so there's always something to come back to and discuss and digest and whatnot. But
yeah,
yeah,
the
with the
same.
Netflix formula, it's like all right, you I feel like with Netflix, they've kind of established the reputation. They're like, hey, you know what you're getting. If you like the weekly thing, you can still have your Amazon, your Hulu, your HBO account. But when when you sign up with us, bam, all at once. Here you go. Watch it at your own pace.
Yeah, it's just not. It just doesn't work. I mean, like there's one that did it. It was Fear Street 19. They
Yeah,
did a Fear Street trilogy, and they
yeah, I saw
released
those.
one movie a week, and we watched every single one of them. There's something about having a continued story, and then like for me personally, I was watching Lord of the Rings, the Amazon show, and I watched the first two episodes or whatever, and then I was like, and then I went to watch the next one, and I was like, oh shit, it's not there. And then like that feeling is like, oh, I have something to look forward to next week. I have something to
Yes,
watch next week,
right.
and that's that. Some people hate that, but I enjoy that.
Yeah,
Give
yeah,
me
that
something
makes
to look
perfect
forward
sense. Now, there is one more topic I wanted to discuss. And this is kind of shifting gears now, because I feel like we pretty much got the Netflix rant out of the way. Hope
to.
everyone
Yeah,
enjoyed that.
I'm apology.
Uh,
My apologies.
hey man, that's great content.
Netflix, you need to listen to me though.
No, you'd mentioned before we started the podcast. You said some news or some drama went down with D&D. Can you? I don't really know anything about that. What's going on in the D&D world?
Okay, I'm to preface this. I'm a D&D, uh, not a noob. I
Squire.
I I've dabbled, but I'm not as experienced as a lot of other people could. You know, a lot of people are. Playing since the '80s. I'm still relatively new. I
Okay.
played here or there for the last decade, but very little. Um, so recently, and a lot of people that play D&D are probably very alarmed by this right now. So a couple months back, Hasbro, which is the parent company that owns D&D now,
Mm-hmm.
they also own Wizards of the Coast and Magic. And apparently,
Oh shit.
Magic has gone way downhill since this has happened. But there was an investor meeting where Hasbro was like, D&D as a brand is extremely underused, under monetized. We need to start monetizing the brand. It's an extremely popular brand, but it really only makes a couple $100 million out of like the pie chart of the money that we make, when it could be making millions of dollars.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. The D&D is extremely popular.
It's extremely popular. It got even more popular because of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have things like Critical Role that blew it up, and then you have celebrities like, I don't know, Vin Diesel and Stephen Colbert and shit that Joe Manganiello, whatever,
Yeah.
that really like it. Um, so so they're like, we're not making any money off of this thing, and it's probably the biggest brand we have.
Okay.
So and the idea is that most of the people that spend money on D&D are the dungeon masters and the people that are actually running it, because you have like the source books. The only people that buy those are the people that are running the thing.
Yeah.
Uh, most of the, so if you think about it, you have a group of 6 people playing a game. Well, only one person's paying for it, right?
Yeah. The
Um,
the DM.
yeah. So they're trying to figure out a way to, it's under monetized. And now we find out they've talked about doing this before. They were going to do a new edition, which would be 6E generally, because right now we're on 5E, which has been going on for about 22, 23 years, since the early 2000s, or since 2000. Um, and right now, they're changing it to the one D&D is what it's called, and it's going to essentially be a subscription service. So they're going to be change. It's going to be a live service. They're going to be changing the rules as it sees fit. You pay a subscription, and then the new edition runs through that. Everyone's like, okay, that's kind of weird, because the idea recently, or has always been, you buy the book and you just play, and then there's like a lot of homebrew and people making their own adventures and stuff.
Yeah,
The problem,
I like the fact that they wanted to create a universal system where everyone could jump in. That's great. But historically speaking, when it comes to a live service,
yeah,
it's
well,
very hit or miss because yes, that live service is how you monetize the shit out of everything, and it
yes,
ruins the experience for a lot of things.
the CEOs of Hasbro or maybe Wizards of the Coast, they're all mostly former Xbox people.
Uh-huh.
So back when Xbox sucked ass, Xbox One, you know. Um, so, anyways, the news that's come out as of recently was a leak of their licensing rules. So for the last 25 years, they've had something called the OGL 1, which is the original gaming license, which essentially, or the open gaming license, I'm sorry, which essentially gave anyone the license, an open license to make content for D&D. So you have people like Critical Role who bought D&D and then play D&D, and they make money off of D&D because, they just play the game, and then people pay them to watch, through
Some free
Twitch and all that.
marketing, yeah.
Yeah, free marketing for D&D, yes. But also Critical Role is making a lot of money. And then you
True.
have people that like get paid to make their own adventures using the D&D system, the 5e system, and then they get paid because they're making those
Yeah, make
adventures.
some campaigns for people.
Yeah. So for the last 25 years, that's been the rule, is like, hey, you buy this, you buy the game books, whatever. It's an open license, just do whatever you want, make your games. And then you have a lot of spin-offs like Pathfinder, um, that kind of take those rules and kind of spin off into their own world. um, Lots of like indie games that use the 5e system from D&D, but it's totally different, like a sci-fi flavor or a different world, you know.
Hmm.
There's an entire industry that kind of grew out of that, and offshoots and different D&D systems, um, or whatever. Well, now that they're doing a new edition, there was a leak for the OGL 1.1. And essentially, what they're doing is they're changing that license and revoking it. So they're saying that a lot of stuff. I can read a couple of excerpts from it if you want. Uh, so it says one of the biggest changes to the document. This is from Polygon. One of the biggest changes to the document is that it updates the previously available OGL, saying that it's no longer an authorized license agreement, so it nullifies the last 25 years licensing, and then it makes it where large publishers who focused on the original OGL products, like uh, there's a couple of different pressings like Paizo, which does Pathfinder, and Green Ronin and Kobold. They're essentially they're under pressure to like remake the rules because um, how do I explain this? Essentially, you have to pay them money now.
Yep.
So
Welcome to
if
live
you
service.
yeah, if you make more than $75,000, not in profit if you just make more than $75, regardless of how much uh, you know, actual profit that is, you owe them 25 to 50% royalties. Um, if you write any sort of adventure, they have the license for it. You own it, but they can use it for anything they want to. So say I write an adventure or create a new character or do anything within the D&D world, they could be like, "Hey, that looks really cool." Yoink and take it and then use it for whatever they want to and make money off of it without giving me anything.
Blizzard did this exact same thing when what was that remade they did? It was a game that people like made their own maps and whatnot because it was open. And then when they remade it, they're like, oh, all the maps are property of Blizzard. We own everything now. You got to pay us to use these maps. When it used to be open, people could just make their own maps and campaigns.
Bethesda did that. This is Bethesda for like mods for Fallout and Skyrim.
Yeah, but Blizzard did it too. I forgot what game it was. Oh, because they rebooted like a popular game everybody was excited for, and then it came out and it was like monetized to hell, and they took away the map making ability. But yeah, that anytime companies do this, it
Yeah.
pisses off the fan base, and
So
you end up losing a lot of people because it's like, okay, now you're just trying to nickel and dime everything, and it just
yeah.
ruins the experience.
So the original OGL was 900 words. The new one is 9,000, over 9,000 words.
It's over 9,000.
Yeah. Uh, and it is essentially every loophole to say that you owe us money,
Yep.
me money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it also puts into effect, it says that anything that was like essentially nullifying the original 25-year license. So now, uh, any of these people that have made um, their own systems or made their own games that have made money, like Pathfinder, may or may not be in trouble because then they're either gonna have to create a new system for their games, or they might have to pay money, or Wizards of the Coast could just say like, "Nah, you don't exist anymore." Essentially, getting rid of all their competition. Um, they're allowed to ban you from anything. So that, like, if you're playing the game and you have the license, they could just be like, "No, we don't want you to use it. You said something weird. We're canceling you," and then you get rid of it. Um, you People like Critical Role now will probably have to owe them, money in royalties because they make more than $7,500,000 a year.
Has this 1.1 license gone into effect, or is it just like
It was
uh,
leaked.
it was leaked? Okay, so it hasn't gone into effect yet, but
It was supposed to go into effect on the 4th, but nothing ever did. So this was leaked. So it could be
because they know
fake.
the backlash they're going to get from this, especially
Yeah,
now that people have seen it.
yes, but the guy who owns Kickstarter came out and was like, "Yeah, Wizards of the Coast reached out to me about because a lot of Kickstart funding is from people making their own games, kind of based on a lot of these game systems. Um, and he was like, yeah, so we came to an agreement. So a lot of people are wondering if like people like Critical Role and other companies that are relying on the 5D or 5e system are trying to, make back end deals to make it where it works. Um, but essentially, it's rocking the entire TTRPG community because they're essentially, getting rid of the license, making it where you have to subscribe. There is no 5e anymore. If you, essentially, you, they'll, in order to play D&D, you have to sign the new license, is what they're saying. Um, and yeah, it's just completely destroying it. The last time this happened was when the fourth edition of D&D came out, and that is why Pathfinder came out, is because everyone stopped playing it because they're like, nah, fuck this, you don't own any of our work, and all that stuff. So then people started looking at alternatives, and then Pathfinder came out. So I think now they're trying to stop that sort of thing from happening by uh, releasing the new license, being like, well, now you can't make an offshoot unless you know, you pay us.
Welcome to corporate greed, everyone.
Yeah.
This is how you isolate your fan base. Like
Yeah.
it,
And
if
I'm
this
sure
if
there's
this
some
is
fights
really going
that
to
are,
happen, then everyone who enjoys D&D, we've had a good run. It's been a good 30, 40, 50 years, however long D&D's been going, but it looks like the good times possibly may be coming to an end. Unless you want to willingly offer a bunch of money to keep playing.
yeah. And I know I explained it poorly compared. There's a great article on Gizmodo from Linda Kodega, who was the person that leaked the draft. Um, they're essentially their Wizards of the Coast is saying they haven't spoken on the leak, but in this draft, they say that the main reason that they're doing is because it was never meant. Um, it was never really meant to fund major competitors. It wasn't intended to allow people to make D&D apps, videos, or anything other than printable materials for use while gaming. So they're like, hey man, all of you guys are making millions of dollars off of our product when the original license wasn't meant for that. It was just meant for your friends to make, a story.
I
They're
mean,
saying
yeah,
that
yeah,
they
that's
don't want
fair.
that is fair, but they're also saying that they don't want they're funding their own competitors. Pathfinder comes out based on their system or whatever. I know it's not exactly their system, but another competitor comes out based on the 5e, and then now D&D is fighting, competing with itself, its own rules, from someone who just took their rules and changed the flavor. um,
Yeah.
but they're also saying that they're trying to block people from using technologies like blockchain and NFTs. They don't want that. They don't want people to start making movies based off their ID or their IP, you know, just by changing it up a little bit, um, which is fine. But the fact that they're saying if you make any sort of if you make any material using our system, we own it and
Yep.
we don't have to
That's
pay you.
that is exactly what Blizzard did. I really can't remember the name of that game. That's going to irritate the crap out of me, but that is the exact same contract Blizzard did. They're like, "Yep, you make anything, it's ours automatically."
Yeah.
Oh, man, that pissed off so many people.
So it says here, if the original license is no longer viable, every single licensed publisher will be affected by the new agreement because every commercial creator will be asked to report their products, new and old, to Wizards of the Coast. It says additionally, while the original OGL did not specifically outline what kind of content third-party creators could make, the updated OGL is very specific. The updated license only allows for creation of role-playing games and supplements in printed media and static electronic file formats. It doesn't allow for anything else. So not limited, including but not limited to things like videos, virtual tabletops, or VTT campaigns, computer games, novels, apps, graphic novels, musics, songs, dances, or pantomimes. You can engage in these activities only to the extent allowed under the Wizards of the Coast fan content policy or separately agreed between you and us.
Which is
So
basically whatever we say it is.
yeah, they can change it at any time they
Yep,
want
that's
to.
arbitrary. Yep.
Yeah. So it says if you want to publish, uh, the document reads if you want to publish SRD based content on or after January 13th, 2023, and commercialize it, your only option is to agree to the OGL commercial, um, which is where you pay monetarily if you make over a certain amount, and they can get rid of it. You terminate your contract, your license at any time without having to explain anything. They're allowed to change the license within 30 days without telling you. Um, yeah, it's just a really, really shitty money grab. And granted, a lot of people won't be directly affected as far as like, the money goes. Most people don't make over $1 million, a $250,000, or $750,000, I guess, a
Yeah, I
year.
mean, the
It's
nail
not
was
big.
in the coffin as soon as you said the words live service. I was like, yep, I know where this is going. That never bodes well.
Yes. So the original was published in 2000 and allowed a host of outside designers and publishers, both amateur and professional, to make new products for the game, and remains entirely owned by Hasbro. So, this arrangement sometimes created products that directly competed with the Dungeons and Dragons publications. It also allowed D&D to get bigger. Like the only reason D&D is probably still one of the only reasons D&D is as popular as it is now is because of Critical Role. Well, they're not owned by Wizards of the Coast. They're just people that like D&D. And originally they played Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like shooting like a symbiotic relationship, uh, killing the golden goose. Like you have all these fans that love D&D and make material for you, like to keep your game alive. And you're saying that's great, but you need to pay us for doing that.
Well, I'm sure we're going to be hearing about more of this in the upcoming months. So I have a feeling this is going to come up on the podcast again.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it and try to maybe explain a little better.
It,
Um,
yeah, that corporate greed, man. I mean, I do feel for them as a company. They have been losing out on a lot of money, but to be fair, that's their own fault for not updating their policies, to keep up with the times. It sounds like this update is like overreaching. It's like the most drastic change possible. It's like, hey, instead of saying, hey, we want a little bit of money, it's like, hey, we want all of the money from everywhere. It's just like, all right, come on, don't overcorrect.
yeah,
Implement little changes to kind of recoup some of their revenue.
honestly, I think a better way to do it would be more symbiotic. Would be like if you come out with a movie, you know that people are going to want to watch that movie. Now people that are in the D&D fandom are like, "Well, why would I support that movie? Y'all are trying to dick us over because we only think of us as money." Just make a great, selection of like a D&D universe, movie universe. Then, come out with some really good games. Um, Maybe come out with like different foil versions of your books. I don't know. I feel like there's a better way to do this than completely saying you're not allowed to be community anymore.
Well, in this
You're
day and age, with the technology and where we are with games in general, live service is like the way to go. That's
Yeah,
that's that's
and
the new standard nowadays, which I hate, but that's just kind of where we are right now in our point in history.
yep, and I mean, you have those Xbox CEOs that are hanging out, being like, "Yeah, that's a great idea."
Yeah, fuck it, we never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, dang, that's unfortunate. But alas, that's all the time we have today on the podcast, man. We hit some pretty good topics today, I feel like.
yep. Hopefully, we'll always have great topics.
This is true. Our content is gold. Please sponsor us, anyone listening.
Not you, wizards.
Yeah, no, not Activision Blizzard. Yeah, we have some standards. We're not complete whores, not yet. But yeah, you got any other parting words you want to leave the people with, Brian?
Uh, no, not today. Happy New Year. Did I say that last week? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Last week you said make a New Year's resolution, make a list of goals.
I will. No, I got nothing. Hope you help.
Nothing in the pot but bank and time. Well, thank you for listening, everybody, to the Humans Talking podcast. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and drop some comments down there below on some topics you want us to talk about, or maybe some things that we are not aware of. But yeah, I guess we will catch you all next week for more gossip and more news.
Later.
Goodbye, everyone.